Welcome everybody to September 11th. I guess we should um, just recognize and pause and honor those were affected. Many people lost their lives and were affected by September 11th. Um, so pause just for that. An important remembrance, how that changed our world. And when I planned this particular topic of peace, I wasn't thinking of that, but I think it applies as well as to current events and what's going on in the world. But really, what I'm talking about is more about inner peace and how we can cultivate that. And when I thought of this topic, I thought a lot of times I think people come to meditation and mindfulness with the goal of finding peace and finding some relaxation. And that's what it seems to be a lot of what people say that they are looking for. And that helps with our stress and that helps with our well-being. It helps us just find a little bit of respite, refuge from the craziness and the stress of life, right? But if you like, you could put in into the chat, what you find that you get from these meditations that we practice, and what is it? What is your intention? We're going to do a quick practice, so we'll do that to start. But if you want to put that in at any point, I'd be curious to know what is it that you're kind of looking for? What's your intention when you stop to meditate? But let's do this quick pause first. So taking a mindful minute or so, just pause and turn inward. You can close your eyes if you like, but you don't have to. And just focus on your breathing for a bit and take a few slow, deep breaths. It can help us to pause and to connect with the present moment through our breath. You might ask yourself, how are you doing? See what arises. See what thoughts come up. See what comes to the surface. How are you doing today? And you might ask yourself, are you feeling peaceful? It's okay if the answer is no. I think usually on a daily basis, we don't automatically feel peaceful. But that's, how are you feeling today? Are you feeling peaceful or not? And then maybe finishing the inquiry with, where and how do you find peace? I think we all have our ways. So where and how do you find peace? Continuing to breathe, noticing what comes up. Maybe what activities are you involved with? Maybe where are you? Who are you with? Are you with anybody? When you find peace. Okay, and so you can open the eyes if they've been closed, and that's just a quick pause to get us started. And I see a couple of you put into the chat. Appreciate that. So to relax and slow down my racing mind. Yes, it can be very helpful for that. Meditation helps me come back to the present, feel grounded, and feel calm. Good combo of things. And that's really what it's about, being present. And I like the groundedness and the calmness as well. Set time apart to regain focus. Very good. So yeah, all good reasons and good intentions. Helps me develop patience. That's a good one. We have so much to do. We're so multitasking and in a rush, and that can help us become impatient with ourselves and others. So great, thanks for those. And if you want to also put into the chat what came up when I asked you those questions. Are you feeling peaceful? Yes or no? And where and how do you find peace just naturally? What are some of what comes to mind? What works for you? We're going to talk a bit more about that. I'm going to give you some ideas. We will, as usual, do a meditation. So if you remember a couple of months ago, if you were with me, we decided to do just one good long meditation rather than try to do two. I used to do that. So we'll do one good long meditation about midway through. So I find peace in nature. Good. Yeah. And last month we did a whole refresher webinar on nature, and I'm going to actually remind you about some of that because I think that's a great place. And you can see in the second comment there, likewise, sitting on my back porch watching the birds. And yeah, wonderful places to practice your mindfulness. And as we talked about last time, nature uh, is all around us, but sometimes we take it for granted. So last month we focused on nature, and we did a practice of um, tuning into nature in the meditation, as well as imagining ourselves as a tree and using the roots as our groundedness and the strength and the resilience of the tree, but also the flexibility of the tree and being present as a tree. So, and another good comment: new hummingbirds visiting my yard. Yeah, those are wow. That's great. I always are amazed by that when we see that. So that sense of awe and amazement that we get from nature. So, but we're going to really focus more on the peace aspect of all that, trying to find ways to do that. So also ask you, how's it going? Hopefully you're able to find some time on a regular basis to do some formal and informal mindfulness practices. So again, feel free to put into the chat how that's going. But also, is there anything else you need? You know, I put at the end of these the resources that are available. We have the M Life app. We have guided meditations on our website. We have other apps that we can use. We have the YouTube channel where I post all these recordings. So we can always go back to those, but maybe there's something else. Is there anything else that you need that I can help with? We have the phone meditations too. So let me know if there's anything else that I can help with. I find it personally helpful just to have different avenues, different ways that remind me. So I sign up for different mindfulness based newsletters. I listen to some podcasts. And there's always new stuff out there. There's different programs that you can sign up for where they have, oh, there's challenges. I'll tell you about our challenge that we're going to be doing, but other things that have talks on mindfulness. So there are those. If you want information on those, just let me know. But so yeah, so what would be helpful to you? And feel free to let me know during today's session, or feel free to reach out to me by email. So let's start with peace. What does it mean to you? And maybe when we started that quick exercise in the beginning, maybe a couple of things came up, and from your comments, I can see a lot of you tune into nature. But what does it mean to you? Now, we could look at it as, of course, we would love peace in the world. Who wouldn't? But again, thinking about our own personal inner lives, how can we cultivate that sense of being at peace and at ease? So, got a couple of quotes here. One is from Thich Nhat Hanh. The mind can go in 1,000 directions. But on this beautiful path, I walk in peace. With each step, the wind blows, a flower blooms. So again, reinforcing the idea that nature is a great way to find peace. And the wonderful Thich Nhat Hanh, who's now deceased, but such a wonderful teacher. There's a lot of great stuff that he does on YouTube. He's got a whole society. He's got books. He's a wonderful, wonderful Buddhist, Tibetan Buddhist teacher. So another quote, which kind of piggybacks on that, it's important what thoughts you are feeding into your mind, because your thoughts create your beliefs and experiences. You have positive thoughts and you have negative ones too. Nurture your mind with positive thoughts: kindness, empathy, compassion, peace, love, joy, humility, generosity, etc. The more you feed your mind with positive thoughts, the more you can attract great things into your life. That's Roy T. Bennett. So following up on Thich Nhat Hanh's quote, walking down that path, we can choose to be lost in thought and rumination, and those negative beliefs can easily come up, those worries that are out there. But we have to really take hold of our attention and focus on feeding ourselves and focusing more on the positive thoughts, overcoming that negativity bias. So I believe it's something that we choose to do in the moment. It's easy to get carried away with our own inner conditioning and negative thinking that happens. And again, just looking at the world around us, it's very, very easy to get caught up in all the, scary, difficult, challenging, awful things that go on in the world around us. And those can really fuel that fire. So again, choosing to focus on positivity, simple little things. And we've talked in the past about simple things you can do. The 3 things practice, for example. And all that really is focusing on 3 things that went well during the day. So at the end of your workday or at the end of your day, jotting down or sharing with somebody 3 things that went well is a very effective practice. But here's another quote that I really I love, from Wayne Dyer. Peace is the result of retraining your mind to process life as it is, rather than as you think it should be. And this one takes a lot of practice, I think, for most of us. But it's simple, but it's, I think, profound. That just think that if we could accept life completely as it is and let go of all those things that we think are unfair and unjust and that are problems and that are what people did to us and how we've been treated and mistreated and all of those things, we have it within ourselves to retrain our minds, as Wayne Dyer says, to just take life as it is. Again, it gets back to Thich Nhat Hanh's quote from Walking Down the Path. That's the beauty of nature, is right there. If we just tune into it and really be mindful about it. But again, not easy to do. And that's why we come together and it's why we practice. So I came up with this acronym for peace, and just as a way to kind of remind ourselves. So the P is to pause. So intentionally pause. E is to enter in. So enter inward and to notice and observe what's going on in our, do like an internal weather check. Is the weather stormy today? Is it peaceful today? Is it calm? Is it cloudy? Is it dark? Is it gloomy? What is your internal weather check when you do that? So all it is checking in, entering in and noticing thoughts, body sensations, and feelings as they are. And then the A is accept things as they are, right? I mean, if we could, I suppose we would want things to always be rainbows and unicorns and peace and all of that. But we know that that's just not the way the world is. So if we can learn to accept things as they are in ourselves, some of the difficult emotions we have, some of the negative thought patterns that come up, some of the pains and aches that our body gives us. Um, Not saying not to try to change those and make them better, but in the moment, accept them as they are as best you can, rather than fighting them and resisting them, and rather than trying to make them go away, rather than pushing them away. Just pausing and accepting them as they are. Not easy to do, but that's an important part of this. The C is to care for yourself and others, and that means being kind to ourselves and others. So we can easily make it worse for ourselves when we should on ourselves and we do things to ourselves that make it a little bit more difficult. We're not always our best friend. And so remember to bring that sense of kindness to yourself, especially to yourself, and that compassion for yourself. That makes it a lot easier to be kind and compassionate to others. And all of this brings us to the E. And I think by doing this and practicing some of this, we can get a sense of being at ease. And equanimity is another way to think about it. Equanimity is keeping an even-minded presence, even in the face of difficulties and challenges and stressors and all those things that are constantly put in front of us. So that's just one way to think about peace. That's how I think about it. I'd love to hear what you think of that, or if you have any other thoughts about what are some other ways to conceptualize it. We're going to practice it in a minute, and there are ways to do that. I think it's actually more effective. But when we think about this brings us to this, where do you find peace? And so I asked you that in the beginning, but there are lots of different sources, right? There may be a very peaceful place that you know of. Could be in nature, but doesn't have to be. It might be indoors, might be a hot bath or in front of a fireplace or something like that. Is there a peaceful person in your life that you can bring to mind? It could be a person who is not in your life, in your real life. It could be a historical figure, or it could be a deceased person or a person, a loved one. So is there a peaceful person that you can remind yourself of? A peaceful thing, it could be anything from, something in nature, a flower, a candle, anything, a peaceful thing that again brings that sense to yourself. Likewise, and similar to that is peaceful image. There are photographs and videos, and there are all sorts of images, such as I presented here on the left of that beautiful scene, but maybe there's an image that you can return to that reminds you, that brings that peaceful feeling up when you look at it. Maybe there's a peaceful hobby that you do. There are lots of things that we do. A lot of people do things like gardening that puts them out into nature, or taking a walk or a hike in nature, or just being with our pets. And that's a skipped forward one, but a hobby, some hobby that kind of gets you into the zone, out of yourself, out of that ego state, into place of being just peacefully with what you're doing. Might be something faith-based, are, there's so many different faith traditions that you can tap into that use solitude and prayer and meditation and all sorts of different practices. So maybe that's a way that you do it. As I mentioned, pets are often places where we find, that unconditional love and acceptance, and coming back home after a stressful day and having a fun-loving dog or cat or whatever pet you might have is very helpful. Peaceful music. I don't put music on these meditations. First of all, I find it difficult uh, doing it over Zoom. I don't think it comes across very well, but you might try. And if you've done on YouTube or on some of the apps, a lot of meditations have music in the background. So there's very peaceful music, or even just simple music that you enjoy that brings that sense of calm and peace. Giving that a try. That's another way to do it. And likewise, peaceful sounds. A few of you mentioned bird song, and there's lots of sounds that we can think about in nature. Sounds. There's singing bowls, and there's all sorts of ways that you can use sounds uh, to calm you and relax you. And then peaceful practice, whatever practice you do, and that's what this is all about, is developing our practice so that you might have some specific practices, and that's what we're going to do today, some specific practices that bring you that sense of peace and ease, that puts you into that place. And again, the more we practice it, remember, that's what this is all about. The more you practice it formally and informally on a regular basis, the more easily you tap into it. And the more easily you tap into it, especially when you're having those really difficult days, when things are very hectic and chaotic, you can more easily tap into that peaceful practice, that place, the person, the thing, whatever it is. Okay, so just some thoughts, and maybe I've missed something here. If you've thought of something, again, please feel free to share something into the chat. Would love to hear any ideas that you have. All right, so this is an image that I use. I use some of these images. I do have some nature scenes, photos, and videos. The link on the bottom here. Oh, and I should mention, I'm going to post the recording, and I'm going to and the slides on Thrive under under Thrive, under live and recorded resources. That's where I put last month's refresher, and I'm going to post each one going forward, so you can watch the recording there and pull up the slides if you'd like them. This particular link on the bottom does go to the my YouTube channel, where I have nature videos, which I mentioned last month. But those are quick 2-3 minute videos that you can watch, but this is just the photo from that. So we'll use this as a backdrop. And in today's meditation, I'm going to use a couple of techniques. We'll use breathing to relax us. We'll use releasing tension in the body to also relax and find a peaceful state in the body. And we're going to use a little bit of a peaceful place or a peaceful person or a peaceful thing. You can choose what you like, but we'll use that in the meditation as well. All right, so yeah, so Lori says she's been to this beach when your in-laws used to live there. Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful place. All right, so let's do the meditation, and this will be the only meditation for today, but it'll be a little bit longer. I'm not exactly sure how long it'll be, but it'll probably be close to 15 minutes, I'm thinking, which will bring us toward the end. So maybe 12, 13, 14 minutes. We'll shoot for that. So let's begin, and simply begin by finding that good, comfortable, meditative posture for yourself, whatever that means, wherever that means. Sitting on a chair is perfectly fine. Being in a comfortable chair, sitting on the floor is okay. Laying down is okay. Standing up is okay. Whatever is best for your body is just fine. Allowing yourself to settle in, being comfortable, letting yourself arrive fully. You might roll the neck or shoulders a little bit. That helps to release a little tension right off the bat. Take a couple of deep breaths. Also might help. We'll do some more intentional breathing in a moment. And let your eyes close, or if you prefer, you can keep them slightly open with a downward soft gaze in front of you. Feel your feet on the floor, feel the chair beneath you or the surface beneath you. And see if you can let those sensations of pressure and contact begin to ground you and steady your attention in the present moment. Set an intention now to put aside any unnecessary thoughts regarding plans, agendas, projects. This time is like a gift to yourself. Everything else can wait until later. For right now, all you have to do is relax and be right here. So, in your own time, begin to notice the rhythm of your breathing. Just the simple rhythm that's there right now. You don't need to focus on a specific point of the breath. Just see if you can be aware of the process of breathing in a general way. See if you can begin to settle back and relax into this natural flow of breathing. The pace and demands of life can build up tension and stress in our mind and body. And we can use the breath to release that tension, releasing any stress that's accumulated. To explore this, let's begin by deepening the breathing just a bit, taking a slightly longer in breath. At the top of the inhale, pause and hold for a moment, and then let your breath out in a long, thin, slow stream of air, like blowing out of a straw. At the bottom of that exhale, hold the breath again for a moment, and then breathe in again. Pause, breathe out with kind of pursed lips, long, thin, slow stream of air. Pause again and do that again. Do that a couple times more on your own. Okay, breathing in, holding for a moment, breathing out, thin stream of air, long and slow. Maybe one more time. And then go ahead and allow your breathing to return to its normal rhythm. And just notice the effect of having modulated your breathing a little bit. Just notice what that was like. Now we're going to try cyclic sighing. And this type of breathing is a two-part in-breath. So you're going to breathe halfway in and then all the way in. Really filling the lungs, and then a long sigh. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Again, two-part in-breath. Do that a couple more times on your own. One more time. And again, just let the breath return to its normal rhythm and notice what that was like. Now let's use the breath to release any tension or tightness in the body, using your awareness to direct the energy of the breath to those places. So first, let's notice if there's any tension or tightness in the face, the forehead, around the eyes, the mouth, and the jaw. And as you breathe, imagine the vitality and energy of the breath flowing to those places in your face and head and around the mouth and jaw. So breathing in, you're bringing in that vitality and energy of the breath to those places. And then as you breathe out, imagine any tension draining out with that out breath. So do that a couple of 2, 3 times. Allow the face to soften and release tension. Now, if there's any other areas in the body where you feel tension, do the same thing. So if there's tension in the shoulders or the lower back, breathe into that area and then breathe out, releasing that tension, softening the muscles, softening that area, breathing out, letting all the tension drain out. Okay, so those 3 different ways to kind of breathe and release tension. Just notice what that all feels like. Now we're going to move into the body and just feel the surface beneath you, holding you up, supporting you, and allow the body to really sink into that support. Let gravity do its natural force. Notice what you're touching with your hands, feeling sensations in your palms. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your body in the chair. See if you can begin to let your muscles soften and relax and allow your body to get the message that there's nothing that you really need to do right now, except take this time to quiet your mind, relax your body, and calm your nervous system. Let your facial muscles relax, softening around the eyes and the jaw. Let the muscles in the neck and the shoulders relax and drop away. See if you can relax your arms and hands. Relax all the muscles in your back. Releasing and moving down the spine, letting the spine and the lower back relax, letting the muscles in the front of the body, chest and the belly relax, all the way down through the feet and into the toes and the feet, releasing any stress or tension, just letting go, softening, sinking in. Now notice your body as a whole. Notice all the places the chair is supporting you up, and see if you can just really surrender to that support and take in that right now in this very moment you are safe. Let your body and nervous system take that in. A thought might pop up, but that's not really happening now. That's carrying you somewhere else. Right now, you're sitting here on the surface, breathing, and you are safe. And imagine that as you breathe in, it's like a warm tropical breeze flowing through all of the sensations in the body. Imagine your breath is soothing your whole system. The breath is comforting your emotions, quieting your mind. One last exercise as part of all this. See if you can think of something or someone or some place that you really love. Someone, someplace, something that just opens your heart. Might be a favorite place in nature, might be an animal, a person, a song, flower, whatever it is. Think of that one thing or place that fills you up with this feeling of love and peace. And as you get an image of that special person, place, or thing, just notice where you feel that love inside you and tune into that feeling. And see if you can let it expand a little bit, sort of like you're filling up a bathtub with water. And as you continue thinking of one or more things that bring you that love and peace, imagine that feeling getting bigger and spreading inside of you even more. And let that feeling continue expanding, and it's spreading out through your entire body, gently washing through your mind, through every cell of your body. And continue letting that feeling spread throughout until you're completely filled with it. And you can even let it spread out beyond your body so that you're bathing in it, filled in it and bathing in it. This feeling of peace and love. And just rest for a moment. Don't have to do anything, just rest in this peaceful awareness. And when you're ready, let's slowly and gradually transition, because that was a longer time to be in meditation, but slowly open the eyes. Maybe slowly giving your body a little stretch as we transition. We open the eyes as we reconnect with our surroundings. Maybe taking a deep breath and appreciating that time for ourselves. All right, thank you. And again, please put into the chat what that was like for you. I'd love to hear what you thought. So we did several kinds of breathing to help relax us. We use the body being grounded, but also relaxing the body, trying to accept things as they are as well. And then we did that bringing up to mind, into our heart, really, that person, place, or thing that is peaceful, that helps to relax us and find that peace. So yeah, so what did you think? Any comments? Any particular thoughts about that particular practice? Thank you. Yes, different types of breathing, like the targeting. Uh, I can get all covering up here, so thank you. Can can't read the whole thing for some reason. Of the breathing techniques, good. Those breathing techniques are very effective. In fact, that cyclic sign has been shown to be one of the most effective. And the first one, simply breathing in, pausing, and then a long out breath, like you're blowing out through a straw. That's another very effective technique. Letting stress and tension drain away. Okay, great. Thank you for that. A little under the weather, so it wasn't easy for me with a cold. Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes breathing isn't the easiest. So if you're feeling that way, I apologize. I'm sorry to hear that. But you might try the visualization, or you might try the body, letting the body relax, not focusing so much on the breath when it's not that easy to breathe. It went fast for you. Good. Feeling peaceful. Yeah, it was. I didn't time it, but I think it was close to 13, 14 minutes. But yeah, good. I'm glad it went peaceful and you kind of got lost in it. It sounds like that's good. Great. Thank you for those comments. And so before we close, just to remind you, this is from last month, popular practice on the science of happiness is noticing nature. And uh, Dacher Keltner is the psychologist who does that particular podcast for happiness breaks. A lot of research behind this. They even found just simply watching nature videos can be very helpful. So just kind of as a follow-up to last month's and to remind you to do that. And these are all links to 5 different practices that you can try if you didn't try them before. So again, I'll post these on Thrive live and recorded resources. And if you don't know how to get there, just let me know. I'm happy to direct you. Send me an email. But those are all good. These are all pretty quick practices. So if you want to try those. So your practice for your homework, in a sense, you try to do the home formal practice every day if you can. If if, uh, if it's hard to do every day, try at least 5, 6 days a week. 3 minutes minimum, 12 minutes if you can. That tends to be the optimal time frame. Again, you might try that peaceful practice of a person, place, or thing, or the breathing. It sounds like a lot of you enjoy the breathing, so you can do that. You don't have to have guidance for that. You can just simply learn that any one of those and do that formally or informally. You can do that in the car, getting aggravated in the car, sitting in traffic, or, right after a meeting that's been a little bit difficult or whatever, or anything, any of those things. Just try some of that breathing. Great way to find that peaceful place and relax a bit. Nature, of course. There are videos. That link I showed you before. And then the informal practices could be those happiness breaks. And intentionally notice what gives you a sense of peace. There is a link here, how to let go. I think it's very helpful if we can let go, as I mentioned in the beginning. So this is an article from the blog by Shamash Aladina. A very good little article on letting go in 7 steps. Thank you for those comments. Oh, yeah. Glad you mentioned that. Currently, you signed up for the 1% challenge on M Life. Another person also signed up. We also have a class coming up. It's here. So it is on LMS. So if you want to sign up, it's another 6-week class. And it's similar if you've taken this before. It has a lot of the similar practices, but I'm just gearing them a little bit more towards building your stress resilience. So feel free to, if you've taken it before, you're welcome to take it again. And sign up on LMS. Just search for mindfulness strategies in the course library and you'll get to that. And I'm going to record those as well so that you'll have those. These are the other ways we have on the website. We have guided meditations. There's other apps. This class, of course, going forward is every month. The YouTube, this is an active link. When you see that, it'll take you to the YouTube playlists. And then this is the app. This is where you can do the 1% challenge. 1% challenge is you can start it now. You can start it anytime between now and October 11th, and you then have a 40-day window in which to do up to 30 practices. And there are rewards for 10 days of practice, 20 days, and 30 days. And so you do have to get the app. You can sign up on the Carillon Wellbeing site. So if you need that, just let me know. I'm happy to send that to you, but it will be on the slides if you go there. Again, we do the phone meditations. I think you know about these. And I thank you. Thank you very much for coming today. A little bit over, I apologize. And peace be with you. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll stop the recording and I'll hang for a minute or two. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I'll be staying on for a second. So I'll stop the recording and again say thanks.